My mother struck me across the face in front of 200 guests at my sister's wedding because I refused to surrender my penthouse apartment. I did not cry. I did not raise my voice. I simply turned my face back toward her silently, knowing she had made a critical mistake. Because in that very moment, standing just a few feet away, was Sarah Mitchell, a federal prosecutor and someone who owed me a considerable favor. They thought they were putting me in my place, but what they did not know was that I had been quietly preparing for this confrontation my entire life. For years, I played the role of the dutiful daughter, the overachiever, the one who worked tirelessly and gave everything without ever demanding anything in return. But not anymore. That strike was not just an insult. It was a public declaration that I did not belong in this family. So I answered back, not with rage, but with the kind of silence that shakes foundations. They called it the wedding of the season. A garden ceremony in Northern California with soft golden lighting, live cello music, and a guest list straight out of a luxury magazine. I wore navy blue, simple and elegant, and arrived alone. My mother, Patricia, spotted me within seconds. She looked radiant, expensive makeup, tailored champagne dress, hair styled to perfection. But beneath the gloss was the same sharp edge I remembered from childhood. "Victoria," she said, kissing my cheek. "You made it." "I sent my response 3 months ago," I replied. She smiled tightly. "Well, you know how busy you are." The bride was my younger sister, Caroline. She had always been the golden child. Spontaneous, pretty, and conveniently helpless whenever something difficult needed doing. I had helped her with college tuition, paid for her first car, and now, apparently, I was meant to surrender my penthouse apartment as well. I had not even taken a seat before my mother asked, "Do you have a moment for a quick family discussion?" Caroline approached while I was getting champagne, wearing her designer gown and that bright smile that always concealed something sharper. "There she is," she said, looping her arm through mine. "It is your penthouse that everyone has been talking about." I froze. She was getting straight to the point. We sat down at a round table near the edge of the garden. My mother did not waste time. "Victoria," she began, "you know your sister and Michael are starting a family. They cannot keep living in that cramped apartment forever." Then came the blow. "We want you to transfer the deed to your penthouse to them as a wedding gift." I choked on my champagne. "A gift?" "Yes," my mother confirmed. "Think of it as helping your sister start her life right. You already have so much, Victoria." "You mean the penthouse I worked 10 years to afford? The one I bought in full after closing a multi-million-dollar real estate deal?" Caroline interrupted. "Come on, Vicky. You do not even like big spaces. It is 2,400 square feet, and I live there. It is not a vacation house." She tilted her head. "But you live alone." And there it was, the dagger wrapped in a smile. This was not about space. It was about punishment for being successful, unmarried, and unwilling to fold. "You have the power to give something meaningful today," my mother said solemnly. I smiled faintly. "And you have the nerve to ask for it in public, hoping the setting will make me too polite to say no." Caroline's eyes narrowed. "So, is that a yes?" I finished my champagne, set the glass down gently, and replied, "No, it is absolutely not happening." There was a moment of stunned silence after I said no. Then came the anger. My mother's face twisted. "You ungrateful little girl," she hissed. "I am 35, I replied, and very grateful, to myself. I stood up. "I am going back to the reception now." "You are making a scene," Caroline snapped. "No," I said evenly. "I am refusing to be used. There is a difference." And that is when it happened. My mother reached out and slapped me across the face. It was real, quick, sharp, loud. My head jerked slightly from the shock. A gasp rippled through the garden. Silverware clinked against porcelain as conversations died. The quartet stopped playing. Someone dropped their glass. All 200 guests were now looking directly at me. And still, I did not flinch. I slowly turned my head back, my cheek burning. My voice did not shake. "That was a mistake. You deserve worse. my mother said, trembling with fury. You have always made us feel like we were beneath you. I scanned the crowd. All eyes were on me. Some were wide in horror, others entertained. I caught murmurs, whispers, a few guests trying to film discreetly. And then, just beyond the rows of white chairs, I saw her. Sarah Mitchell, dressed in a black sheath dress, her face unreadable. I had barely noticed her earlier. Now her eyes were locked on mine, and in that one look, I knew I had a witness far more powerful than any applause. She remembered what I had done for her 3 years ago, helped her win a brutal estate battle pro bono. Now she was a federal prosecutor with influence, credibility, and a long memory. I turned back to my mother. You just slapped the wrong woman. You just shamed this family, she barked. No, I said calmly. You did that the moment you asked me to buy my way into your love. I reached into my clutch, pulled out my phone, and began typing. Victoria, my mother growled. Put the phone down. But I already had the message sent to my network, lawyers, real estate moguls, and journalists I had built relationships with over the years. Garden wedding turned violent. Mother slapped me for refusing to give sister penthouse.
Public.
Witnessed. Statement to follow. From across the lawn, I saw Sarah Mitchell reach into her bag and pull out her phone.
Good.
She knew this was not a meltdown, it was a move. My mother's face had paled. What did you just do? Nothing, I replied. Just letting people know what happened. You will ruin your reputation, she snapped. I tilted my head.
No.
You already tried that. For the first time in years, I was not negotiating. I was not apologizing. I was not minimizing myself to keep the peace. I was done. You think anyone is going to care? My mother hissed. You think your little tantrum is going to matter? Patricia, a voice said from behind her. We both turned. It was Sarah. She had stepped forward, calm and composed. I care, she said, because I saw everything. My mother froze. I saw you slap your daughter in front of 200 witnesses. I heard your voice. I watched your face. And who exactly are you? My mother asked, defensive now. Sarah pulled a small badge case from her purse and flipped it open. Federal prosecutor. Southern District. Dead silence. My mother blinked rapidly. Caroline gripped Michael's arm like a lifeline. My phone buzzed continuously. The video of the slap was already making rounds. I would like to say a few words, Sarah said, stepping into full view of the crowd. Her voice cut through the murmur like a gavel. People turned toward her. The garden felt like a silent courtroom. I was not planning to speak today, she continued, but I witnessed something unacceptable. Miss Calloway, you assaulted your daughter in public. That is not my opinion. That is a legal fact. Are you threatening me? My mother asked.
No, Sarah replied.
I am stating what everyone saw and what has been recorded. She turned to the guests. I am Sarah Mitchell. I work for the United States Attorney's Office. 3 years ago, I nearly lost my home to greedy relatives, and I was saved by the very woman who is slapped in front of all of you today. A wave of whispers rolled through the crowd. She did not ask for credit. She did not charge me. She simply said, "This is wrong, and I will help you fix it." That is Victoria Calloway. Sarah looked straight at Caroline. This is not about a penthouse. It is about a pattern. A family dynamic that rewards silence and punishes boundaries. She paused. What we witnessed was not just personal, it was cultural. A reminder that successful women are still expected to shrink, to give up, to hand over their victories in the name of family. And some of us are done shrinking. A long silence followed. Then something unexpected happened. Applause. Scattered at first, then growing. From people who knew what they had just witnessed was not just drama, it was justice. My mother stood frozen. Caroline looked shattered. The wedding was unraveling by the minute. Guests began making excuses, leaving their tables, stepping away from champagne flutes. My phone buzzed again. TMZ had picked up the story. 6 new client inquiries had come in. The irony did not escape me. The very slap meant to put me in my place had instead amplified my platform. I left the wedding without looking back. By the time I reached my building, the notifications had doubled. Screenshots of the slap. Hashtags. A clip of Sarah's speech being shared by women's rights pages. When I stepped into my penthouse, I let out a breath I had not realized I had been holding for years. Everything was exactly how I had left it. The bookshelves. The floor-to-ceiling windows. The sun casting warm streaks on my hardwood floors.
This was not just property.
It was proof of work, of dignity, of who I had become without their permission.
My phone rang. It was Caroline.
I let it ring out. She texted. I did not know she was going to hit you. I am sorry. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long moment, then deleted the message.
She had a husband now.
A different life. And I had mine, a stronger one. As night fell, I stood by the window with my tea, watching the city glow beneath me. The world kept moving, but I was finally still. No more giving out of guilt. No more shrinking to keep the peace. No more apologies for taking up space.
Just me.
In my home. In my skin. In my silence. And in that silence, I felt free.